When I began cutting my teeth on delivering trainings, presentations, seminars and workshops, I used everything from my 10+ years of teaching experience. Soon, I was tasked with delivering all the trainings and meetings in my centre. Other schools caught wind of the quality of my sessions and began asking me to come deliver sessions at their school, or at the very least, to share my materials. It didn't take long until I was promoted into a role that created individualised development plans for entire schools in the region. In this video, I'll go over one tactic I learned to take control of a room of unruly children, and then talk about how I use that same method to take control of a room of unruly businessmen. Welcome to Teach Anyone Anything, where we do just that. I share my success with using tried and true teaching methods I learned in my background as an international educator to better manage our team and our business. I remember first landing in China for an English teaching position. I was given a polo with the company name on it, a few flashcards, and being told, teach them fruits, before being helplessly tossed into a room of 3 to 5-year-olds.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
After leaving the lesson with a 1,000-yard stare, I was told to prepare for a class of 14 to 17-year-old teenagers. Yes, I thought, finally some civilized conversation. To those of you who are already laughing, you know just how wrong I was. However, as time went on, I learned that to captivate a room of children, a room of teenagers, and a room of adults, it really isn't all that different. In fact, more often than not, the adults are the worst of all. So, what can we do? Set positive expectations. Early on in my teaching career, I hated rules. I found them to be unsuccessful in maintaining the order they promised. Some of the more senior staff members told me to use the following rule: no Chinese. Presumably, this would force the children to speak English, which was the idea. So I figured, why not? I started writing no Chinese at the top of the whiteboard at the start of every class. I failed my learners miserably by introducing this rule. What it did was cause my learners not to feel safe to ask questions if they didn't understand the content. They felt unseen and unheard, and so they stopped participating altogether. The overall dynamic I was inadvertently setting in the classroom was, I'm more important than you. The biggest failing of this rule that I saw manifest itself was a student of mine wetting herself in my lesson for fear of receiving a demerit for using her native tongue. I was appalled, and I immediately began reworking my system of expectations. I asked myself a question: what did I expect? Cooperation, respect, kindness. These were the things I really wanted. I certainly didn't care about something as trivial as asking a question in their own language. So why was it a rule in my classroom? I began to set positive expectations. I flipped negative rules into positive ones, and I noticed a tremendous difference in my lessons once I reframed no Chinese into use English if you can. So, later, when I began delivering trainings and spearheading meetings, instead of shut up and listen, which was typically how every meeting I'd ever participated in had been run, I began establishing a rule at the beginning that was, please write down at least one question or idea during this presentation. Now, what do you think this did to the atmosphere in the room? In our weekly staff meetings, there was a rule my boss liked to throw around: no talking. This has a similar negative impact to no Chinese, which makes sense because the rule started negatively. No, to me. No talking implied. No cooperation. No collaboration. No concern about your thoughts, feelings, ideas or considerations, and no sense of a team or community. And I wasn't alone in feeling this way. Comment below. I want everyone watching to read about other examples of a bad manager that kept his employees down so they know what to avoid. Or comment about a particularly great manager. What made them so great? I found that when I took a historically negative tradition in these board meetings and flipped it to a positive, I instead created an environment of reward and praise and not one of punishment. No talking means you get scolded when you talk, and so you learn not to talk. You learn to think. The rule that I'd adopted, please write down at least one question or idea, meant my team was rewarded when they wrote down questions, so they learned to listen and think openly about how I can help them and how they can help the company. This rule implied a desire for cooperation, collaboration, a concern about the thoughts and feelings of our staff, and built a sense of community and teamwork. So, by just flipping one simple rule around, I was able to alter our company culture for the better. What rules, written or spoken, does your company have? Are they positively or negatively inclined? If you're delivering a training session or leading a meeting, what's one thing you're going to do to let everyone know their opinions matter? If you're not, who is? Would they be receptive to this topic? If you found anything in this video helpful, or if you'd learned something, or if you would like to see a deeper dive into anything, let us know in the comments. Please like and subscribe so you'll know when we release another video. Our next video will focus more on creating an environment of reward and praise to bring the best out of a team. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.